Good morning. In the previous session, we discussed about the machine learning and then introduction to WEKA and then what is a WEKA Explorer, how can you load the data into the Explorer and then different types of file formats and then pre-processing the data. Now you are going to know about the classification. What is an exactly classification? The classification is a supervised machine learning. Here, in this classification, you will predicting the input values, output values. That means both you will predicting the input values as well as the output values. Here, in this case, classification divided into groups, but not similar properties. But clustering, you will have the similar property. In the classification, there is no similar property. In the classification, you will predicting the categorical class labels. That means either discrete or nominal. That means you will predict in the class label red, green, yellow. That's called here categorical. Young, youth, mm, old. That is a class for the age criteria. That's a categorical. That means you will previously, for example, linear regression, multilinear regression on the numerical data. And then here, this kind of classification, decision tree, anything here on the class labels, categorical labels here. The classification predict the categorical labels. That's called here classes here. Here it classifies the data based on a training data set. That means historical data, training data in the sense historical data set and values. The values is treated as a class label in a classifying attribute and then use it in a classifying new data. That is called here the classification technique. In the classification technique, you are going to designing the decision tree. You have to implement the decision tree by using WEKA. Here, what is exactly decision tree? In the previous session, you have a great idea about the decision tree, the classification, and then previous videos having the great idea about the decision tree and then classification. If you go to the data mining, data warehousing and data mining playlist, here you will identify the great idea on the decision tree as well as the classification. Here decision tree, how can you represent decision tree? Decision tree is a flowchart like a structure. Here whatever may be the representation on the decision tree, here also same representation is there, where each internal node, you call it as a non-leaf node, that denotes the test on the attribute. That means you are performing some test condition, that's called here attribute. And then the decision tree consists of decision node and then leaf node and then edges are there, path is there. That means these are all certain information about the decision tree. Here the main intention here is decision tree, how can you designing this particular decision tree? Here the decision tree can be easily converted into classification rules. Here for example id3, by using this id3 algorithm, these algorithms are used to converting the decision tree into classification rules. C4.5 iterative decotomizer 3 and then C4.5, it is an advanced of the C ID3 and then CART. These three algorithms are used to converting the any information into classification rules or model. Here J48 prune tree. That means it is called here pruning tree technique here. Here, how can you designing this decision tree? For designing the decision tree, these are all the steps here. First, open the WEKA tool. That means previously you open the WEKA tool. There we have a different tabs are there. Classification tab are like that. Here, for example, open the WEKA tool. Here I'm going to open in the WEKA tool like this. This is a open the WEKA tool. Here in this WEKA tool, click on the Explorer. Click on Explorer. If you click on the Explorer appears like this. Here you have a process tab, pre-process tab, classify tab, cluster tab, associate tab, and then visualize tab. That means not in a disable mode. These are all only pre-process tab only in a active mode or this is in a active mode. All are in disable mode. That means open the any data set here. That means that is a you directly download from the internet, or you have a system. That means open from the URL. That means previously discussed about how can you open the file from the URL, and then open from the database, and then open from the file system. Here in my local system I am having my own file. That's why I'm going to open the file like this. Open the file, click on open. Here I am having the data set from the desktop. Here from the desktop there is a data set is there. Here I'm going to the open the simple data file. For example, weather weather report file. Here open that file, weather file. Here this file consists of, if you open this file you will see this information. Here what are the information in here? It's consist of sunny, that means outlook, temperature, humidity, and then some windy, play, weather. That means based on this condition whether we play or not. Here it is a sunny, the temperature is in the 85 degrees, humidity, and then windy, false, then you cannot play. That means sunny. That means in particular cases you will open like this. This is a, this is a some information, that is a data set. Here based on this data set here you will perform in the classification. When the open the data set, it is in a active mode. That means classify is in active mode, cluster also in active mode, and then associate tab also in active mode. That means if you open this file, here identify the steps. That means open the step. Thus what is the second step? Verify the second step. Here what is the second step here? In classified tab, select the option where the list of different decision trees available. From those list, select the J48. That means from those list, J48 is a prune tree. That means for the ID tree used to defining the, or performing the classification rules. Here the second step here is a choose button. You have a choose button option is there. In the choose button option, go to classify tab. First go to the classify tab. Here go to the classify tab. I'm selecting the classify tab. The second step here, selecting the classify tab. In the classify tab you have a choose button. Selecting button is there. Click on choose button. That is the second step. See the second step. Here in the classify tab, select the choose option where a list of different decision trees available. That means the third step here is a, under the test condition, select the training set. Here first to complete the second step. Here what is the second step? The second step in this explorer, here selecting the choose button. Under this choose button you have a different tree options are there. Click on the trees. Here the prune trees, different prune trees, decision stamp, and then hoping tree, J48. That means you have to select the J48. That means this indicates the prune tree. Here see here, if you comes to the J48, it gives us some description. Here decision tree for more information. Here the class indicates the certain value, and then this is a, I am selecting the this one, selecting this tab. Here come to the third one, third point here. Here now under the test option, select the training set option. Training set. Here you have to select the training set. Here test options are there. Yeah, that means you have to train the data. That means previously defined data set, I'm going to train the data. That's why I am going to click on the training data set. Click on, see here, the click on training data set. That is a third step. Comes to the fourth step. What is the fourth step? The resulting window appears like this. This is a resulting window. This is called here resulting window. The training set, and then data representation is there. Next comes to the fifth point. Here, what is the fifth point in this case? Here, click on start to generate a classifier and then right click on the result list. Here, see here, this is a fifth step. What is the fifth step here? Click on the start to generate the classifier. The classifier classify, that means it's dividing into different rules, different classes. Right click on the result list and then select the visualize tree option from the decision tree will be viewed. Here come to the fifth point. What is the fifth point here? Click on start. If you start here, you will have the different information is there. What is the different information? It is a J48 pruned tree. Here wind equal to true. No. Windy equal to false. Yes. Here this is a number of leaves. Here it consists of number of leaves. That means the decision tree consists of um, uh, different nodes, root node. After that some of the internal nodes indicates the test condition, and then size of the tree. The size of the tree here is a consist of 3 nodes, and that means it gives a some of the statistical information. The correctly classified instances in the sense number of rows 9, and then incorrectly classified instances 1. That means 10 percentage, 90 percentage out of 9. That means number of correctly, and then it gives you some information. The next step here in this case, right click on this result. That means comes to the result list. The result list, right click on this one, view. If you view tree, if you right click on this one, visualize the tree, click on visualize tree. If you click on, visualize tree, the tree appears like this. If it is a windy, true, then no, you cannot play the game. If it is a windy, false, you will play the game. That means that is called here, that is a simple information regarding the tree structure. Here that is a different steps for the tree classification. Here coming to the our implementation. Here what is an implementation? Here this is a obtain tree. That means it gives a some, the sixth step here, obtain decision tree classifier has the classified instances correctly with an accuracy 85 percentage. See here, you will identify the accuracy also. Here the accuracy here is a 85 percentage. That means you will the accuracy, that means correctly 90 percentage of accuracy is there, man, for our system. 90 percentage of accuracy. Here that is called here, this is a simple classification based on a simple data set. But our requirement is there. What is an our requirement? The next important thing here is the next important, implement the decision tree. That means you have to implement the decision tree classification on the German dataset. That means everyone knows about the German dataset. The German dataset consists of 26. That means already I explained the what is a German dataset, what are the concepts regarding the German dataset. Here, if you need, I can explain. You have to implement the dataset based on the German dataset. Here, what is the German dataset? I can explain you. Here comes to the Explorer. Here WEKA Explorer. I'm coming to the Explorer. I'm going to load the another data set. Here come to the preprocessor. I'm going to testing the, I'm going to designing the, I'm going to implementing the decision tree for the German data set. Here open the German data set. Comes to here. Here data set. Under the data set you have a German data set is there. Here credit G German dataset. I'm opening the German dataset. Here, if you see German dataset, the German dataset consists of how many number of attributes? It consists of 21 different attributes are there for the German dataset. Here, you comes to the first attribute, checking the status attribute, and then duration attribute. And then coming to this credit history attribute, and then purpose attribute, and then credit amount attribute, and then different attributes are there. Here you have to designing the decision tree. Here if you see the decision tree value, here you have the some of them are numerical attributes, some of them are nominal attributes are there. Here this particular thing here, you have to work on only nominal or categorical attribute. You have to do this information on the nominal attributes or categorical. You have to remove the numerical data from the attribute. How can you remove the numerical data for this one? See here, and that means you have a numerical data is there. You have to remove the particular numerical attributes. How can you remove the numerical attribute here? For removing the, that means in the classify tab you cannot identify the J48 algorithm or something else. You cannot perform in the this classification operation. First you have to, that means anything here the decision tree only applicable on the categorical attribute, not a numerical attribute. For converting the numerical attribute into categorical attribute, you have to choose button. Under the choose button, WEKA. Under the WEKA, there is a filter is there. Under the filter, there is a option attribute. That means unsupervised. Click on unsupervised. And under unsupervised, click on attribute. In the attribute here, remove type. You have to select the remove type. Here there is a remove type is there. Click on remove type. Here, yeah, you have to click on the first. I am telling you once again, WEKA filter unsupervised. Under unsupervised there is a attribute option. Under the attribute option there is a remove type. Click on this one, remove type. Here click on this remove type. String, I automatically string is there. I want to change that one. Here remove attribute of given type. Here attribute type. Here what is an attribute? Here attribute type delete string attribute, not a string attribute, nominal attribute. Delete nominal. That means I'm selecting the delete nominal attribute. And then invert selection. Here invert selection is there. Click on that is a true. Invert selection, that is a true. And then okay, invert selection, that is a true. Here one thing you have to remember here, I am going to applying all class attribute, no classes. That means you have to select this option. Left side the visual all, select as a no class, and then apply. If you apply here, previously you have a 21 attributes are there. 21 attributes, some of the attributes numerical attributes, some of the attributes nominal attribute. But 14 attributes are there now. Here these 14 attributes are, for which type of attributes? These 14 are the nominal attribute. If you want to see here. These are all called it as a, these are all are the nominal attribute. See here. These are, for example, the checking status is a nominal attribute, credit status is a nominal, and then purpose. All are nominal or categorical attributes. These 14 are nominal or categorical attributes. There is no such numerical attributes. Now you have to draw the, now you have to, then only if, that means that is a this German data set. In the German data set, some of the attributes, numerical attributes, you have to remove that such kind of numerical attribute. Here comes to the, again comes to the classify tab. Same application comes to the classify tab. What is the second step for the classify tab? First apply the first step I applied. What is the second step? The second step is in a classify tab, where the list of different decision tree available, selecting the J48. Here in the classify tab, I'm going to selecting the J48. Here, how can you selecting the J48? Comes to the WEKA. Under WEKA, there is a classifiers are there. Under the classifiers, there is a trees are there. The pruned tree is a J48. Selecting the J48. I am selecting the J48. And then one thing you have to remember here, in the third step, what is the third step? The test option, use training set. Use training set is a very important one. Test option, use training set, and then click on start. If you click on start, you will identify the different conditions here. Here, what is the correctly instances? Total, you have a thousand, more than 1,000 instances are there. 1,000 rows are there. Here, the correctly instances are 803. That means 8%. The accuracy of this system is a 80%. Incorrectly classified instances here 19%. Incorrectly classified instances 19 percentage. If you want to see the tree, that means this is a some description. This is a tree structure, J48 pruned tree. The pruned tree structure. This is a J48 pruned tree structure. The number of leaves. How many leaves are there? 62 leaves are there. That means the number of that means size of the tree 80. That means large tree. If you want to view the tree, that means you can view the tree. See here, visualize, right click on here, visualize tree. Yeah, this is a tree structure. If you want to see more information about this tree, you will see here. This is a decision tree. The decision tree is, this is a large number of trees. Why? Because you have a large data set. In this way, you will classify the decision tree. This is a the construction or implementation of decision tree. Thank you.